Reporter tries to embarrass Aaron Rodgers on live TV. His epic response shocks the audience. A reporter sat across from Aaron Rodgers, asking questions about his career and future in football. Aaron, some people say you are past your prime, the reporter said, that you should retire before you embarrass yourself. What do you say to that? Rodgers responded, that is an interesting take. But let me ask you something. Who are these people you are talking about? The reporter said, analysts, fans, people on social media. Rodgers replied, so, people who have never played at this level, never been in a huddle, never faced a blitz on third down, but they think they know when my career should end. The reporter asked, but do you think your skills have declined? Rodgers said, the thing about critics is that they talk. That is what they do. But talking is easy. Winning is not. His next words would leave the reporter speechless. Aaron Rodgers looked at the reporter and, if my skills have declined, then why am I still winning games? Why am I still competing at the highest level? The reporter responded, some would say that experience can only take you so far. Younger quarterbacks are faster, stronger, and more dynamic. Rodgers smirked. Football is not just about speed or strength. It is about decision-making, leadership, and handling pressure when it matters most. That is something you cannot measure with stats. The reporter asked, so you believe you are still at your peak? Rodgers replied, I believe my job is to win. If I can still do that, then what exactly is the problem? The reporter tried another approach. But do you think it is fair to hold on to a starting position when younger players are waiting for their opportunity? Rodgers responded, this is a competition. If someone can take my spot, then they should. But that has not happened yet, has it? The reporter paused before asking, how long do you plan to keep playing? Rodgers' next words would change the entire conversation. Aaron Rodgers looked at the reporter and said, I will stop playing when I can no longer compete at the level I expect of myself. The reporter asked, so you have no set timeline for retirement? Rodgers replied, why would I? If I can still perform, lead my team, and help win games, then I will keep going. People have been asking me about retirement for years, yet I am still here. The reporter continued, but is there a point where you would step aside for the next generation? Rodgers smirked. The NFL does not work that way. You do not step aside. Someone takes your spot. If a younger quarterback can outplay me, then they deserve the job. But that has not happened. The reporter asked, do you feel pressure knowing people are watching for signs that you are slowing down? Rodgers responded, pressure? I have played in Super Bowls, in playoff games, in do-or-die situations. A few critics questioning my career does not change anything for me. The reporter then asked, so what motivates you to keep going? Rodgers' next response would silence the reporter completely. Aaron Rodgers looked at the reporter and said, motivation? That is simple. I love the game. I love competing. The reporter asked, is that enough? At some point, does passion outweigh performance? Rodgers smirked. Performance speaks for itself. As long as I can perform, my passion will push me forward. If I was not playing at a high level, we would not be having this conversation. The reporter shifted. But critics say you should leave while on top, instead of waiting to decline. Rodgers shrugged. Critics said I should have declined years ago, yet I am still playing. People love to predict the end of something great. It is easy to doubt from the outside. But inside that locker room, inside that huddle, I know what I can still do. The reporter asked, so you do not care about what people think? Rodgers replied, I care about my teammates. I care about winning. Opinions from people who have never played this game do not change how I prepare or how I play, the reporter asked. But does it ever get personal when people doubt you? Rodgers leaned forward. Doubt is nothing new to me. But let me tell you, something doubt does not decide games. Execution does. The reporter had no response. The conversation had completely shifted. Rodgers had more to say, and his next words would make the biggest statement yet. The reporter paused for a moment, then asked, "So, does doubt fuel you? Do you play to prove people wrong?" Aaron Rodgers shook his head. "I do not play for doubters. I play for the love of the game, for my teammates, and for the competition." The reporter pressed further. "But does it ever bother you when people question your ability?" Rodgers smirked. "If I let every opinion bother me, I would not have lasted this long. Opinions do not win games. Hard work, preparation, and execution do." The reporter asked, "So, you never pay attention to the criticism?" Rodgers responded, "I hear it. I just do not let it define me. If I listened to every critic, I would have retired years ago. But here I am, still competing, still winning." The reporter then asked, "What do you say to those who believe you should retire while you are still respected?" Rodgers leaned forward. "Respect is earned on the field, not in a debate. When I feel I can no longer play at my standard, I will walk away. Until then, my job is to win." Reporter had tried to corner Rodgers, but Rodgers had turned the conversation around. The next question would give Rodgers the chance to make his final statement, one that no one would forget. The reporter adjusted his notes and asked, "So, when that time comes, how do you want to be remembered?" Aaron Rodgers smiled slightly. "I want to be remembered as someone who gave everything to the game, someone who never backed down from competition, never let outside noise dictate his career, and always played to win." The reporter leaned in. "Do you care about being called one of the greatest?" Rodgers shrugged. "That is for others to decide. My job is not to chase a legacy. My job is to compete, to push myself, and to win games. If I do that, everything else will take care of itself." The reporter asked, "Do you think your legacy is already set?" Rodgers replied, "A legacy is not something you decide for yourself. It is written by what you do, how you prepare, and how you handle every challenge thrown at you. My story is still being written." The reporter tried one final question. "If you could say one thing to your critics, what would it be?" Rodgers smirked. "Keep watching." The interview was nearing its end, but Rodgers had one final statement to leave the audience in shock. The reporter hesitated for a moment, then asked, "So, no matter what people say, you will keep playing as long as you want?" Aaron Rodgers nodded. "Exactly. I do not owe anyone a timeline. I will retire when I decide it is time, not when someone else thinks I should." The reporter then asked, "What do you say to young quarterbacks coming into the league who are aiming to take your spot?" Rodgers smirked. "That is how the NFL works. Everyone wants to prove themselves. I was once that guy, too. But the greats do not just arrive and take over, they earn it. If someone can take my spot, then they deserve it. But until then, I am not stepping aside for anyone." The reporter tried one last time. "So you do not fear the next generation?" Rodgers leaned forward. "Fear? Number, I respect talent, but I trust my ability. I have seen every defense, every scheme, every situation. Experience is not something you can teach overnight." The reporter had no comeback. Rodgers had answered every question with confidence and had taken full control of the conversation. But before the interview ended, Rodgers had one last message to deliver, and it would be the most powerful one yet. The reporter sat up straight, preparing for the final question. "So when the day comes that you walk away from the game, what will you say then?" Aaron Rodgers took a moment before answering. "I will say the same thing I have always said. Football has given me everything, and I gave everything back. No regrets, no what-ifs. Just the satisfaction of knowing I played the game my way." The reporter pressed further. "And until then?" Rodgers smirked. "Until then, keep watching." The interview ended, but the impact of Rodgers' words spread quickly. Within minutes, social media exploded with reactions. Fans debated his legacy, analysts discussed whether his confidence was justified, and critics questioned how much longer he could continue proving them wrong. Some fans praised Rodgers for his confidence, calling him a competitor who refused to let outside pressure dictate his career. Others believed his time was running out and that he should consider stepping away before his skills declined. On sports talk shows, analysts debated his future. Rodgers is still playing at a high level, one commentator said, but how long can he keep this up? Every great athlete eventually reaches the end. Another analyst disagreed. If he is still winning games and performing at a high level, why should he walk away? He has earned the right to decide when he is done. Meanwhile, former players weighed in. Some admired Rodgers' mindset, while others believed that younger quarterbacks deserved a chance to shine. The conversation split was Rodgers holding on too long, or was he proving that experience still mattered? The young quarterbacks in the league also reacted. One rising star was asked about Rodgers' comments. "I respect him," he said. "He has accomplished a lot, and he is still playing at a high level. But the league is changing. Younger guys are hungry, and we are ready to compete." Despite the debates, Rodgers remained unfazed. In a follow-up interview days later, he was asked if he had any response to the ongoing discussions about his career. Rodgers shrugged. "Everyone has an opinion, but opinions do not decide games. If someone wants to take my spot, they have to earn it on the field. Until then, I will keep doing what I do best." His words only fueled more discussion. Some fans loved his competitive nature, while others believed he was avoiding the reality that all players must eventually step away. One veteran player was asked about Rodgers' mindset. "That is what makes him great," he said. "The best athletes do not just give up when people tell them to. They fight until the very end." The debate continued for weeks, with every game Rodgers played adding more fuel to the conversation. Every touchdown, every win, every big moment became another argument in favor of his decision to keep going. Then came a defining moment. Late in the season, Rodgers led his team to a crucial victory, throwing a game-winning touchdown in overtime. As he walked off the field, cameras captured him mouthing two words, "Keep watching." The clip went viral instantly. His message was clear: he was not done yet. The conversation about his retirement continued, but Rodgers had made one thing clear. He was going to walk away when he decided it was time, not when others told him to. Do you agree that self-belief matters more than public opinion? Share your thoughts and stay tuned for more inspiring stories.